May is looking to be a pretty diverse month in terms of game releases for PlayStation 4 owners. We've got big exclusives, remasters of existing classics, and games from just about every genre. In this video, we'll be going over 12 huge PlayStation 4 games coming in May 2018. Let's get right into this. We'll start off with the heavy hitter Detroit Become Human. Detroit Become Human is the latest game from Quantic Dreams, and it's a game that has a lot of potential. With Quantic Dreams titles, they can turn out to be really good like Heavy Rain, or sometimes they do disappoint a little bit like Beyond Two Souls, but what you can for sure say about them is that they're very ambitious titles and they do try to tackle very mature thematics. Detroit Become Human looks to be no different. It's set in the future with an emphasis on androids that become emotional. It's a very interesting story, and while in terms of exclusives, a lot of attention has been on God of War, Detroit Become Human is one that could surprise all of us. It's releasing on May 25th.
She's mine. I do what I want with her! Come back here!
As I mentioned, May is also bringing with it remasters, and of course we have Dark Souls Remastered. Dark Souls has become one of the more iconic gaming franchises. Everybody seems to really enjoy the Souls games, even though that they're very difficult, and before the series really got popular, on paper, this isn't a franchise you would have thought would attract a mainstream audience, but it's done exactly that. From Software has decided to take a break with Souls after the release of Dark Souls 3, however, we do have Dark Souls Remastered coming next month, a remastering of the very first Dark Souls game. And of course, this is going to feature various technical improvements as well as some additional content from the DLC. Best of all, Dark Souls Remastered will be coming at a budget price of $40, so that's great as well, and the game itself will be releasing on May 25th. Next up, another remaster in Dragon's Crown Pro. Dragon's Crown wasn't the most popular game on the PlayStation 3, but it was done by a very talented studio in Vanillaware. They did some great games like Odin Sphere as well as Muramasa the Demon Blade, that was a Wii and PS Vita title. And Dragon's Crown was also an excellent game. It's got a fantastic art style and some great gameplay. Dragon's Crown Pro will be an all-around improved version of Dragon's Crown, so if you've yet to play the game or you want to experience it again, this is going to be one right up your alley. It's releasing on May 15th.
Let's do this.
Next up, we have Everspace. Everspace is a space combat game in where the player progresses through a number of sectors with increasing difficulty. You're given the ability to craft and upgrade various systems of your ship, including weapons, maneuverability, and shielding. There is a storyline here as well, and it's revealed as the player reaches certain points in a run for the first time. It touts that it's combining roguelike elements, top-notch visuals, and a captivating non-linear story. Everspace will be hitting the PlayStation 4 on May 29th. We do have a PSVR title to mention, Killing Floor Incursion. The PlayStation VR has struggled a little bit to amass a quality library of known IPs, however, we have one here in Killing Floor Incursion. Now, Killing Floor isn't a marquee IP, but it's definitely a notable name. The Killing Floor games have been really good, but obviously with Killing Floor Incursion having a VR emphasis, this is going to be very different than the other two Killing Floor games. We've seen other games do this. We saw that with Until Dawn Rush of Blood, very different than the original Until Dawn game, but you've got a notable IP, why not make a VR experience? And Killing Floor Incursion is built for VR. You play as a Horizon Security Force soldier that has been wounded in a combat against the Zeds. You're placed in a neurological stimulation to keep your brain stable while Horizon medics can repair your body. And don't worry about this game being a game that just has VR tacked on. With Killing Floor Incursion, the developers really went for a game that utilized VR to the fullest. The game will be releasing on May 1st.
You need to keep them away from the life support programs. Lieutenant, you really need to hurry. I don't think I'm alone. I keep hearing someone or something moving around out here. Something big.
Space Hulk Deathwing Enhanced Edition. Space Hulk Deathwing Enhanced Edition is a game that we've been expecting on the PlayStation 4 for quite a while. It's a first-person shooter that's already been released on PC, and while it wasn't the best game in the world, there were some issues with it. There was a lot of quality in the game. The game's got awesome level design, and it's a very absorbing and atmospheric experience, and visually it is absolutely stunning. We thought we were gonna get Space Hulk Deathwing Enhanced Edition earlier than now, but better late than never. Space Hulk Deathwing Enhanced Edition will be launching on the PS4 on May 22nd. Next up, we've got Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr. This is a game a lot of you guys need to have your eyes on. It's an action RPG set in the Warhammer 40k universe and set in the future of the 41st millennium, and it's an open-world sandbox RPG with a persistent universe with a huge variety of missions, tactical and brutal combat encounters in destructible environments, and a storyline influenced by the community of players. There looks to be a lot of depth in the gameplay where you'll have to use the cover system for a tactical advantage, shoot off limbs, and perform executions in epic boss battles and become a protector of any solar systems within the game. Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr could be one of those games that really surprises. Hardly anyone's talking about it, especially in the PlayStation community. Hopefully the anticipation for the game ramps up as it's scheduled for a May 11th release. Next up, we have Moonlighter. Moonlighter is a very charming game with an awesome old school art style. The game itself is an action RPG with roguelike elements that demonstrates two sides of the coin, revealing everyday routines of Will, an adventurous shopkeeper that secretly dreams of becoming a hero. Yes, it's very interesting in premise, and seeing a little bit of the gameplay, it looks even better in execution. No, Moonlighter isn't this technical benchmark that is going to be a groundbreaking experience, but we've seen that these lower key indie titles turn out to be some of the best games. Look at a game like Celeste. That game was incredible, and Moonlighter really gives me a similar vibe, although it's a far different experience. This is one that's probably going to end up surprising a lot of gamers, just like Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr. As far as Moonlighter goes, it'll be launching on the PlayStation 4 on May 29th.
something we can all learn from Will.
City of Brass. Here we go, another game that's been going really under the radar. City of Brass is a single-player, first-person game with a lot of depth in its gameplay. It's got some dungeon crawling elements. It's set in a procedurally generated Arabian Nights-themed city of interconnecting corridors, courtyards, and rooms. You take the role of a thief fighting to reach a treasure hidden in the heart of a mythical city filled with traps and enemies. One of the more interesting gameplay elements, and that's been showcased in various gameplay videos, is your protagonist. You wield a scimitar in the right hand and a whip in the left hand. The whip has been a huge focus. You grab objects, you can trip, disarm, or stun enemies, shatter barricades, and I can go on and on. So that's the gameplay, and as far as aesthetics go, City of Brass looks pretty good as well. The game will be releasing on May 4th. Next up, we have Conan Exiles. Survival games for a little bit were the genre in the gaming world, but it looks like they've been overtaken a little bit by Battle Royale. However, everybody, I would say, can still get into a quality survival game, and Conan, with having a different presentation style, and you've got a pretty good fundamental design to work with, this is one that could turn out to be pretty good on the PlayStation 4. As far as the game itself, it's a lot like your other survival games. It's got a similar basic premise. You begin convicted of various crimes, sentenced to death, and are crucified under the scorching desert sun. You're rescued by Conan, however now as an exile you must navigate a huge desert landscape. This is a game where the developers have been rather committed to keeping updated. It's been released on PC, it's got mixed reception over there, but hopefully it makes a solid transition into the PlayStation 4 and it could be a game that gamers get into. Conan Exiles will be released on May 8th. Next up, we have Lumines Remastered. Now you might be thinking, Lumines Remastered, what is this remastering of? Well, Lumines was actually a PlayStation Portable title that was released back in 2005, and that might turn you off right away, but don't get it twisted. Lumines was an awesome music rhythm game that was very charming, and this version will feature enhanced visuals and support for higher resolutions. If you are at all a fan of games like Sound Shapes or just other quirky music rhythm games, Lumines Remastered is going to be one right up your alley. It doesn't have an official release date yet, but look for it to come sometime in May. And finally, we have Guns of Icarus Alliance. Guns of Icarus Alliance is the expanded and definitive edition of Guns of Icarus Online. It takes the original PvP steampunk airship combat game and improves it. Alliance features all of the content from the original title, but with the addition of PvE environment as well as cooperative experiences, hence the name Alliance. An ongoing war between 6 elite factions vying for control of a war ravaged by machines and an ever-changing world that is constantly being shaped and reshaped by the players. You'll need a good ship and the right crew so you can conquer the skies. Guns of Icarus has been a franchise that's been more suited to PC, but it'll be cool to see the game on PlayStation 4 as well, as Guns of Icarus Alliance releases on May 1st. So that concludes 12 upcoming PlayStation 4 games in May 2018. What do you think? Which games in May are you the most excited for? We've got a huge diverse lineup of games, from big budget titles like Detroit Become Human, huge remasters like the Dark Souls Remastered, and other games like Killing Floor Incursion for you VR owners, Everspace, Warhammer 40k Inquisitor, Martyr could be a title to surprise us, so sound off with your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.